Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're focusing on motorsport games. We've got quite a bit of information here, strategic investments, business updates, a full due diligence report, even a company overview. Our goal is to sort of unpack all this and pull out what's most important for you to understand about where motorsport games stands right now.
That's the plan. We'll start with the recent news. There's been a notable investment and some business updates that look, well, fairly positive on the surface. Then we'll get into the weeds a bit, their financials, the competitive scene, potential risks, opportunities, and we'll touch on what analysts are saying, if anything. By the end, listeners should have a pretty solid picture.
Okay, let's get started then. So this recent news, April 15th, 2025, right? A $2.5 million strategic investment. What's the story there?
Well, what makes it particularly interesting is who led the investment. Pimax. They're a virtual reality company.
Ah, okay. VR.
Yes. So this signals a pretty clear strategic push, doesn't it? It suggests Motorsport Games is serious about integrating VR more deeply into their games. Pimax focuses on those higher-end VR headsets too.
Right, aiming for that immersive, maybe more hardcore simulation audience. Seems like a natural fit for racing games.
It does, and then there were also preliminary 2024 results reported back in February of last year. What did those tell us?
They pointed towards expected revenues for the year somewhere between $8.5 million and $8.8 million. The company specifically highlighted strong sales for new Le Mans Ultimate content and good user engagement on their race control platform.
So signs that the main product, Le Mans Ultimate, is connecting with users, which is key.
And there was something else too, wasn't there, about their listing status?
That's right, yeah. They regained compliance with the Nasdaq listing rules. That's quite significant.
So what does that mean practically?
It means they meet the exchange's minimum standards. Again, things like share price, financial stability markers. It removes the immediate threat of being delisted, which, tends to boost investor confidence somewhat.
Okay, so putting these pieces together, the VR investment from Pimax, the revenue hints, regaining Nasdaq compliance. What does that mean for the market's perception, potentially?
Well, the source material doesn't give us exact stock price reactions day by day, but generally speaking, news like the strategic cash infusion, decent revenue signs, sorting out regulatory issues, it's usually seen positively. It could help stabilize the stock, maybe even give it a lift. It builds a bit more confidence.
And analyst views. Any specific takes mentioned in the documents?
Not specifically recent sentiment, no, but you'd typically expect analysts to view these developments favorably. Strategic moves, better compliance. It often leads to, well, slightly more positive outlooks. We do see later a hold rating and a $5 price target mentioned in one overview. That suggests some belief in the potential, maybe the VR and Le Mans Ultimate combo, but perhaps analysts are still waiting for sustained profits before getting really enthusiastic.
Let's pull back a bit then to the wider industry context. How does this VR focus fit into the bigger picture of gaming?
It definitely aligns with where the industry is heading, or at least exploring. VR continues to evolve, and immersive experiences are a big draw. So Motorsport Games investing here. It could position them well, but, and it's a big but, the gaming market overall is incredibly competitive.
That's the challenge, isn't it? Can that VR focus be enough to really stand out against the giants?
That's the critical question. It gives them a specific angle for sure.
So thinking about those challenges and opportunities, what are the key ones facing them now?
Well, on the risk side, getting back into Nasdaq compliance is good, but their financial performance, that's still the main thing. They need to show they can actually make money consistently. And, broader economic conditions can always hit the gaming sector. On the opportunity side, though, that VR investment, it really could open doors for growth, help them differentiate.
Okay, let's transition to those financials then. The due diligence report you sent over had some numbers. This should give us a better handle on their ability to manage those risks and maybe seize those opportunities. What jumped out?
Right, looking at 2024, revenue was about $8 million. Q4 was a bit stronger, around $2 million, compared to maybe $1.7, $1.8 million in earlier quarters. So a modest increase year over year, but still, $8 million isn't a huge number in the gaming world. The report also mentioned growth has been a bit up and down over the last 3-5 years.
Inconsistent. And profitability, that's usually the big one.
Yeah, and that's where it gets tougher. Q4 2024 EPS earnings per share was negative 0.89 cents. That was actually worse than analysts had expected. They were looking for something closer to negative $0.48. This reflects ongoing net losses. Now, the loss for the full year 2024, around $3 million, was an improvement from the $14.3 million loss they posted in 2023.
Okay, so losses narrowed significantly, but still definitely in the red.
Precisely. And because of those losses, you don't really get a meaningful positive PE ratio. Interestingly, the report mentions reduced cash burn and improved cash flow in 2024, even though specific debt-to-equity figures weren't provided. Return on equity data was also missing, but given the losses, you'd assume it's below industry norms.
And the report also touched on their actual business, what they do. Can you remind us of their niche?
They specialize in racing games, specifically targeting motorsport fans with licensed content. Le Mans Ultimate is the big one right now, featuring brands like Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche. Apparently, the early access release of that game helped re-engage players. They've been adding updates, hosted servers, and, importantly, subscription services. That hints at wanting more predictable, recurring revenue streams.
But the report still paints them as, well, not quite in the big leagues yet.
Correct. They're definitely seen as a challenger in the wider industry. The demand for realistic racing sims, cloud gaming, subscriptions, those trends could help them. But the risks are substantial. Competition from much larger developers, the fast pace of technology changes, the cost of getting those official licenses, and just general market ups and downs.
And who's steering the ship? Any mention of management?
Stephen Hood is president and CEO. He's been overseeing these recent launches like Le Mans Ultimate. No specific details on insider trading activity were in these docs, though.
Okay. And thinking about valuation and risk from the report.
The price-to-book ratio is likely elevated, it suggests. No dividend, obviously, with the losses. Beta, the volatility measure, probably high. Typical for smaller cap stocks like this. Major risks highlighted again, those ongoing losses, the competition being heavily reliant on their next game being a hit, and interestingly, potential supply chain issues were mentioned, though without specifics.
Supply chain. Wonder what that refers to. Maybe hardware related if they bundle things, or digital distribution complexities. Anyway, the report also compared them to peers.
It did. Generally, the larger competitors have stronger revenue growth, they actually make profits, positive EPS, and have broader game portfolios. Motorsport Games is smaller, financials are more volatile, but they have that specific niche focus. Recent news summarized there. Positive vibes around Le Mans Ultimate updates and the subscription service, but tempered by missing those analyst revenue targets.
Got it. Just to make sure we're crystal clear, let's quickly recap their core identity from the company overview document.
Sure. Fundamentally, they are a developer, publisher, and they also run an esports ecosystem focused on official motorsport series. Gaming and esports are their playground. Keep products again. R-Factor 2, Kartcraft, the newer Le Mans Ultimate, and their esports tournaments.
And that overview also talked about recent performance, specifically the stock price trends.
Yes, and it really underscores the volatility. Past month range, $1.21 to $3.09, 6 months. Similar big swings. The 1-year range was 73 cents up to $3.75.
Wow, okay. That is quite a roller coaster for investors. What's driving that beyond the specific news items you discussed?
It's likely a combination. Small cap stocks are often more volatile anyway. Add in the speculative nature of a company turning around, the dependence on game releases. Plus that recent strategic investment and the Le Mans reception clearly influencing things lately.
Makes sense. And the financial health summary in that overview, did it align with the due diligence report?
Pretty much, yeah. It showed $8.69 million revenue for 2024, confirming that 25.73% increase from 2023. Net loss pegged at naddest $2.75 million, again, showing that reduction in losses compared to the prior year. EPS at nadded $0.94. And it noted they secured funding via that strategic investment, though no explicit debt levels detailed.
So if we boil it down from that overview, primary red flags and key strengths.
Red flags. Definitely the ongoing net losses and that significant stock price volatility can be tough for investors to stomach. Strengths.
Yeah.
The revenue growth is there, which is positive, and the apparently good reception for Le Mans Ultimate.
What about market sentiment, according to that overview? Analysts and the public.
Analyst consensus was cited as hold, with that $5 12-month price target we mentioned earlier. Public opinion, likely mixed. Increased interest because of the news, maybe some excitement around Le Mans, and also probably caution due to the financials.
And competitively compared to the big fish.
Like EA, Codemasters, which is now part of EA, actually, Ubisoft. Motorsport Games is much smaller. Market share is tiny in comparison. Their edge, if they have one, is that focus on realistic simulation and esports for a dedicated niche. They have revenue growth, which is good, but the lack of profit is the stark difference right now.
So, looking ahead,
Hmm.
what should people keep an eye on?
Well, there was an earnings report scheduled for May 6th, 2025. That would be a key update. Continued news flow around Le Mans Ultimate expansions, updates, subscription uptake, and of course, any hints of completely new titles. Risks remain the same. Broader gaming market trends, what competitors are doing, any regulatory shifts.
And the final recommendation for that overview document.
It framed it as a speculative play. High risk, high potential reward, maybe. The volatility and losses make it speculative, but the revenue growth and Le Mans are encouraging signs, hence the hold from analysts. It suggests for investors who can tolerate that risk, it might be worth holding or even buying small, hoping for future growth. But conservative investors, probably best to be cautious or wait for more proof.
Right. So when you step back and look at everything, it's clear Motorsport Games is at a fascinating, maybe precarious point. You've got this promising revenue growth, a game in Le Mans Ultimate that seems to be hitting the mark, especially with subscriptions and the VR potential. But they're still losing money, and they're playing in a very, very tough league. That May earnings report, whenever folks get to see it, will be telling.
Absolutely. What really stands out is that clear commitment, isn't it, to the motorsport niche and now leaning into VR. It really does boil down to that key question. Can they actually leverage that focus, turn that niche appeal and tech integration into consistent, sustainable profit, especially when they're up against companies with much deeper pockets?
That's the well, maybe the $8 million question for now. We hope this overview has helped clarify the situation around motorsport games for you all. If you found this useful, do remember to subscribe, like, and maybe drop a comment with your thoughts or questions. We always appreciate hearing from our listeners.